When you're at the airport, imagine walking up and seeing one of those people holding a sign that says family. You'd be like, well, like what like any family? Like that's weird. When we specify like the Patterson family, I know that that's for me, right? I can see clearly that is for me. When it just says family, I'm like in this airport situation, that's like creepy and weird. And also everybody's going to walk by because nobody's going to stop and go, oh, like what family? Is it the Smith family? Like, are you talking to, like, no. We're going to walk by. We're probably going to avoid, like, it would be weird. So the more specific we can get, the more we create that moment of recognition that, oh, that is my problem. That's exactly what my problem is. And I have not been able to figure this out. And why the heck haven't I been able to figure it out? And here's the solution. Hey there, and welcome to the Life and Business on Purpose podcast, where purpose meets profit and mindset meets strategy. I'm your host, Sandy Patterson, former kindergarten teacher turned online business coach, mom of 2 really cool boys, and the creator of the Momentum Method. Through this 3-phase method over the past 2.5 years, I have helped dozens of women build values-aligned, profitable businesses without working 40+ hours a week so they get to enjoy their business and live their lives on purpose. Around here, we do business differently because we believe success isn't about hustling to prove ourselves. We don't believe in rigid formulas or chasing someone else's version of success. It's about channeling perfection into power, moving with unstoppable trust in life and business, and leading with strategy that actually fits your life. Let's build your life and business on purpose together, one episode at a time. Here we go. Hello there. Welcome back to another episode. I'm so happy that you are here. If you are tuning in to the video version of this, you can see in my background, the wall is a little bit bare. We're getting a little revamp in the office and the recording space here. So I'm super excited to be here with you today. Now, if you've ever felt like you are good at what you do, but your content still isn't fully landing with the right people, or your audience still doesn't seem to instantly get that your work is for them, I'm going to offer you a different perspective today because we have all been there. We've all been posting and having conversations and wondering, why are people not jumping in on this? Like, we know from our end what a great offer this is and how I can transform someone's life with this offer. So why are people not jumping in? So today I want to offer you a different perspective on this. Your niche probably isn't a wording problem. A lot of us think that, oh my gosh, I need to find a better niche. I need to find what people are buying. I need to change my niche, or even I need to niche down even more. What's usually happening with the whole niche thing is deeper than this. It's that you haven't fully clarified who your brand is actually built for. And because of that, your messaging keeps moving. So it changes depending on the post. It changes depending on the person standing in front of you and what you believe that they're going to understand or what they need. And when your message and how you speak about your work keeps moving around, it's really hard for your people to get that immediate moment of recognition, that moment of, oh, this is for me, for sure. And we know that that moment is really, really important. It's the moment that creates connection, and it's the moment that begins to create trust. And very often that moment that, ooh, this is me, or ooh, this is like hitting me in that way that I'm thinking, how did she know that? Or like, it feels like she's speaking directly to me. That's what actually creates a brand as a whole that connects with the right people. So if you are new here, my name is Sandy Patterson, and I help high-achieving, recovering perfectionists build online coaching businesses that actually work with clients, with income and impact, so that they can create success on their own terms and live life on their own terms, with their online coaching businesses being the vehicle to get them that time freedom, location freedom, freedom, all the freedoms. And after years in a job that I hated, I built a business that gave me the freedom to be present with my kids and live life in a way that actually feels really good to me. And now I help women do the same through my 3-phase momentum method, turning perfectionism into power, building self-trust, and creating a values-aligned business that's actually fun to run, because your business should support your life, not take you away from it. Now, before we dive in, if you already know that you need some support around how you speak about your work and attracting those dream clients just by speaking about what you do, you can book an absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call where you and I will sit down together and look at your current life and business structure. We'll see what you have going on, how you're spending your time, how you're talking about your work. We'll identify what your gaps are, and we'll map out how to close it so you can see better results with less effort by focusing on what truly matters and by shifting that messaging to speak directly to your ideal client. The link for that call is in the show notes. And if you are ready for longer term support where you and I can really get into your business and get into the weeds and look at all of the things inside of your business, your marketing, your sales, your offer suite, delivery, and really your life and business structure, you can apply for the mastermind or for private coaching. The link for that is in the show notes as well. Now, what most coaches really want is actually pretty simple. They want their content to connect with the right people and to connect quickly. They want the right people to actually see themselves in their work, and they want to explain what they do without overthinking it or without like starting to sweat or panic or, look for the post-it that you have your elevator pitch written on to kind of read off of that script. And we want sales conversations to feel cleaner, and you want your brand to feel recognizable. You want to be known for something. You want people to land on your page, hear you speak, read a post, and think, oh my gosh, this is exactly it. Like, I have been waiting for this. And underneath all of those things, the true desire is trust, that you want to trust yourself in how you speak about your work. So when anybody asks you, what do? It's like, you don't even have to think twice. It's like if somebody asks you, what color is the sky? You're like, oh, well, the sky is blue. That's how you want to be able to talk about your work. And you want your audience to trust you in that. You want to stop feeling like you're almost there with your message, but just not quite. Like something just still feels a little bit off. Something is not landing, because that almost zone is exhausting. I know this because I've been there, and lots of my clients have been there too. And we're going to get you out of this today because you're good at what you do. You know that your work creates results, and you know that you have a really solid offer. Okay. But if people aren't fully getting it or understanding, it can really start to feel like maybe you're missing some magic messaging trick, or again, I need a better hook, or, all of these things that we're looking at. And I don't believe that that's usually the issue. And this is not the issue when I work on this with my clients. What I see a lot of coaches doing instead is trying to solve this through different wording. So it's tweaking that niche statement, that I help statement. It is rewriting their bio over and over again. It's changing how they're describing their offer, and they're consuming more content about messaging, and they try to find a way of saying what they do that will resonate with more people. And because they want it to land, it's really common that we start broadening the message. So it's, instead of narrowing it in, it's making it make sense to everyone, or trying to make it make sense to everyone. So we are over explaining, we're adding more context, listing out all of the possible things that you can help someone with. And it's almost like a shape shift depending on who you're talking to. So I remember very much, if it was one of my teacher friends, I would talk about my work in a certain way. If it was a family member, I would talk about the work in a certain way. If it was somebody that I thought was a potential client, I would talk about it in a certain way. So it wasn't a straight shot. I was shape shifting to try to make the person standing in front of me understand. And I wanted everybody to understand. I wanted my teacher friends to understand. I wanted my family to understand. I wanted potential clients, obviously, to understand. But really, in that scenario, does it even matter if my friends understand? Does it even matter if my family understands? No, it doesn't. So it matters that my dream client, not every single potential client, but my dream clients, the people that I really, really would love to work with and that I can really, really help, it matters that they understand. And of course, I wasn't doing this because I was wrong or I was trying to like trick anyone or anything like that. It was just because I hadn't fully decided yet who I was leading. And a lot of coaches haven't fully decided who they're leading yet either. So we still try to make the work make sense to a wider range of people instead of making it crystal clear for the right person. Now, this is exactly why the message doesn't fully click. Or when I talk about message, I'm talking about your niche, essentially. Your niche, you have to know your niche in order to create the message, in order to understand who it is that the message is for. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, clarity around this, around your niche and around your message does not come from trying to be understood by everyone. It actually comes from specificity. So if your message is always adjusting, then your audience, it's impossible to lock into it and to recognize themselves in it really quickly. What we really want is for people to land on our stuff or read one thing or see one thing or speak to us. And immediately, we know that people's attention spans are like non-existent these days, right? We want them to be able to immediately go, this is me, or that's not me. Because when people have to work really hard to understand what you do or to figure it out, they usually actually don't. Like they won't go out of their way to go, oh, is this for me? Like, I don't know. Let me go check it out. Like, let me go do some digging and figure this out. They're not going to do that. And this isn't because they don't actually need your help and it's not like anything wrong with you or it doesn't mean anything about you. It's just because the connection point, that point of recognition is too diluted. And this is good news because this is something that we can shift. This is why you can have content that sounds really good and really thoughtful and that's really valuable and still not have it convert the way that you want to. Because content, it doesn't only need to be like quote unquote good. It also needs to be specific enough to create that point of recognition. Being able to create that point of recognition comes from knowing your niche and knowing who you're speaking to. And that happens when your brand is built around one clear person. So this isn't really vague, like I can help all the people on the planet. It's not even a category of people like I help teachers. No. Not every teacher is going to benefit from this specific work that I'm doing. It's looking at this like it is one person, like you're only talking to one person. And I know when your brain is going to go, well, one person, like it's going to kick into that scarcity mode of no, there's not enough people out there like this. Yes, there is. I'm telling you right now, there is and there are. And there's evidence of this on Netflix. Go turn on Netflix and you'll see that there are all these random TV shows or series and things like contests and shows about all of these different things that you probably didn't even know existed. But there's enough people out there that are willing to watch this and take part in this and be in this for it to have a show on Netflix, right? So there are enough people out there, okay? So we're moving from this point on from a place of abundance that there are lots and lots of this one person out there. We just need to start speaking directly to them without that fear around, oh my gosh, what if there's only one person out there? There's not. Because when you know exactly who your work is for and what they're struggling with and what she desires and what level she's at in the area that you coach around, your message is naturally going to get cleaner and you don't worry any longer about, oh my gosh, is my friend from high school, is she going to understand what this means? Like it literally doesn't matter to me if she understands or not. If she has questions, she can ask me and clarify. And also, I just want that one person to understand. Sometimes it almost feels like an inside joke where if I send a text to my best friend and it's an inside joke and not everybody's going to understand, like if they were to look at it, they would be like, okay, this is weird. I don't understand this. It's the same thing in your content. Not that people are going to say, oh, this is weird, but they just might not understand it. Whereas my best friend, my dream client, is going to understand it and go, ooh, wow, yes, I get this. Like this connects, this resonates. I see myself in this. So you stop reaching for wording that is performative and like, ooh, I got to make this sound really good. Ooh, I got to make sure that this person understands. Ooh, I got to make sure that this isn't really what I want to coach around, but I want them to know that I can help them just in case. We're not doing that anymore. Okay. You start communicating from actual clarity. This is the difference. I see niche. I see your niche that leads to your messaging, that leads to a brand that is instantly recognizable by the right people. I see it very differently than most coaches. Most business coaches will help you create like an elevator pitch or a I help statement. So I help blank with blank so that they can blank, which is great. And there's nothing wrong with that. But typically what I find is that the fill in the blanks, like a Mad Lib, it's still very vague. We think it's clear in our head because we're in our head all the time and we know what we're talking about and we know what we mean. But if a stranger were to walk up and go, oh, is this for me? It's hard to tell. Even things like, I help burnt out moms. That's even really, really broad and really vague. So let's talk about what we need to do instead, what we can do to get out of this so that your messaging and your content and your conversations start creating that point of recognition immediately with your people. So like I said before, I believe that your brand is built on one person. Like I said, it's not just one human being in the literal sense. It just means one clear type of person, a specific person who your work is designed for. And it's the person like the A+ client, the A+ incredible, so bought in, so excited to be there. She is showing up. She is doing the work. She is engaged. She's implementing. She's taking it all in like your A+ client. It's this person. And to build your brand around this one person, you need to know 3 things. And I call this the magnetic niche framework. And I'm going to go over this framework with you. And if you're listening and you're like, this is amazing, this is incredible, which you're gonna have a lot of aha moments in just a second here around your niche and around what you do. We are diving in on Monday into this framework inside a 3-day live challenge called the Magnetic Niche Challenge. So if you'd like to join us in that challenge, I'm going to put the link for that in the show notes. We start on Monday, April 6th, 2026. So if you want to join us, it is a no-brainer, like come on in and we're going to walk through all of these things together and dive in to specifically your business, your niche, your one person that's essentially going to create that recognizable brand and have you walking away from sales conversations feeling incredibly confident and clear. It's not just about like naming your niche, like I'm this or I help this. It's really, truly, we're going to go really, really deep into what I'm about to share with you right now into this magnetic niche framework. So the first thing that you need to know is obviously who this person is. So who is the woman that your work is actually for? Now, I'm not talking in a really broad possible sense. Okay. So it's not like women who want more or female entrepreneurs or people who are ready to transform. That's really, really vague. Like all of those, like, okay, I'm a woman and I want more, but like, want more around what? Like female entrepreneurs, like, yeah, that's me, but like, what, like, I don't know if that means somebody that's just starting their business, if that's like somebody who's already, making millions in their business. I need to know. And then people who are ready to transform, like transform what? Like, what does that actually mean? So who is she really? Like, who is she? If you were to create this dream avatar, this dream client that has a really, really specific thing about her. And it could very well be like when we talk about who is she, most coaches will say, okay, talk about like, what does she do for her job? Or how does she recognize herself? Like, is she a mom? Is she a working mom? Is she a teacher? And those things, yes, they can matter. They might matter in regards to your niche and what you help her with. However, How does she identify herself? This is the more important question. How does she see herself? How does she walk through her days? Like, I know my ideal client is very much a woman who is very, very educated, is smart, is scrappy, is resourceful, and she sees herself as being able to figure out literally anything she puts her mind to. She's not like, hiding under her desk, crying, needing to be saved. Like, she's smart, she's scrappy, she knows that she can do anything, but for some reason, she can't figure out why. She can't figure out how to get her business really up and running with consistent clients, with recurring revenue. That's a lot more specific than online coaches, right? It speaks very much to somebody who is at a specific level, who is at a specific point in her business and a very specific pain point. So who is she really? How does she identify herself? What does she already know? What is she really good at already? What has she tried? What are some of the little quirky things or things about her that the way that she sees herself? Also, what does she value in her life in general? And usually when we're thinking about this, it's going to be some version of you, or all of these things are going to resonate with you as well, because usually your client is going to be a previous version of yourself, because you've brought yourself through that transformation. You've walked clients through the transformation, and it's you basically. So and you're also too, when you're doing this exercise and you're going, who is she really? Who is she at her core? What does she value? How does she identify herself? What identities is she tired of being a part of and giving any thought space to? When you're brainstorming these, you can take off the table that it needs to be palatable for everyone, or we don't want to offend anybody, or we don't want to exclude anyone. Let's shift that right now, because we actually are trying to exclude people. I don't actually want the woman who's under her desk crying, that needs to be saved and needs to have her hand held to walk her through. I actually don't want her to book a growth gap audit call. I actually don't want that version of her to be applying, or that woman to be applying for my mastermind or for private coaching, because it's not the type of woman that I want to work with. So we get to exclude people here. And so the more you can exclude people, and sometimes when we do this, it's easy to make a T-chart on your paper. So draw a line down the middle and then the top. On one side, write everything that you don't want your client to be. And then on the other side, write what you do want her to be, the opposite of whatever you wrote on the left side. So if I don't need her to be saved, this ideal client for me is somebody who is a self-starter, who is a really, really hard worker, who has really high standards for herself in all areas of her life. She's already decided that she's going to make this happen. She doesn't need permission. She's already doing a lot of really great things. She just needs the support to take it to that next elevated level. Okay. So that's the first question. Who is she? But not just she's a teacher. She's a CEO. She's a mom. Get nitty gritty with this. And who is she? Both her characteristics and also her identity. How does she see herself? So those things are really, really important in creating clarity. The clearer you are on this and who she is, the easier it becomes to speak directly to her. And also, I remember when I continue to do this, even now, I'm 3+ years in my business, I still do this. I still am evaluating and looking at this and looking at how is this woman changing? What have I learned about this woman? Almost on a stalker-like level, not in a weird stalker level, but I know this person so well. I know what is keeping her up at night. I know what she desires. I know what she's saying in her head, but she will not say out loud because she's embarrassed or because she doesn't want to admit certain things to herself or to the world. So get in there, don't be shy, and write it down, document it, put it in a Google Doc. So that's the first part. Now, the second part of this framework is what you help her with. So what's the specific problem or shift or transformation that your work helps her create? And again, I see this happen often. This is where we get a little bit too broad because we think, well, I can help, I could help other people, I could help everyone, but we don't want to help. You don't want to help everyone. Okay. Yes, your work may help with confidence and identity and visibility and messaging and sales and trust and self-expansion and like all of the things. But what do you primarily help her with? That woman that you just created an avatar of or you are thinking about, what is it that you primarily help her with? And there should be a really beautiful intersection here with the problem that she has and also what you want to help her with. Okay. Not, oh yeah, I can help with anything. But like, if you were to strip away all of the, like the right answer or the, like what people are going to pay you for, if you were to strip all of that away and I were just to ask you, what do you want to help people with? What do you enjoy talking about? What could you talk all day to the wall about? What do you like? What lights you up? There should be an intersection between that problem that you're helping her with and that thing that you've identified that you primarily help her with. And I understand that this can feel scary, right? This can feel like, oh, I don't know, like I don't want to exclude people. Remember, we already took that off the table. We are excluding people. And we're also coming from a place of complete abundance. So if you knew there were billions of people out there that needed help with this specific little thing, what would that thing be? What is the clearest doorway, the clearest way to walk into your work? And I see this happen often too, where we're so broad and so vague that it's like they just don't know if it's for them. So I'll give you a metaphor here. If you're at the airport, okay, and you see somebody holding a sign, right? So like it's like a car service or something, and they're holding a sign. Imagine walking up and seeing one of those people holding a sign that says family. You'd be like, well, like, what like any family? Like, that's weird. That's kind of creepy. Like, okay, weird. When we specify like the Patterson family, I know that that's for me, right? I can see clearly that is for me. When it just says family, I'm like, in this airport situation, that's like creepy and weird. And also, everybody's going to walk by because nobody's going to stop and go, oh, like what family? Is it the Smith family? Like, are you talking to us? Like, no. We're going to walk by. We're probably going to avoid. Like, it would be weird. So the more specific we can get, the more we create that moment of recognition that, oh, that is my problem. That's exactly what my problem is. And I have not been able to figure this out. And why the heck haven't I been able to figure it out? And here's the solution. So what do you primarily help with? And what is the thing that he or she can immediately identify as the reason why she needs support right now? Like, yep, that's the thing. I've been dealing with that forever. And the more like tick down we can get, the better, because high intent buyers are not looking for a general solution. They are looking for a specific problem that needs to be solved, and it needs to be solved now. That specific thing is what your brand needs to anchor around. Okay. Now, the third part of this framework is, and this is, I think, what a lot of people miss and a lot of other coaches miss, is what level she's at. This part is, like I said, overlooked, and it is so important. So what level is she at in relation to the thing that you help with? So is she a beginner? Is she already getting results, but is she stuck at a plateau? Is she experienced, but maybe the foundational pieces weren't set up correctly, so we got to go back and look at those? Is she building momentum but lacking clarity or lacking an understanding of how she created it in order to recreate it? And I'll give you an example of this because the way that you speak to someone at one level is very different from the way that you speak to someone at level 10 or even level 5. So an example of this was when I first started my coaching business, my quote unquote niche was I help burnt out teachers find balance and joy. Okay, great. Really, really vague. Like, sounds good. Okay. Very, very vague. So then I realized I didn't just want to help any teacher. I wanted to help teachers who were leaving the classroom because that was the experience that I had just gone through. I had walked myself through that transformation. I had started an online freelance business. I wanted to help teachers get out of the classroom because I knew that I wanted to be out of the classroom and I wanted that so badly. But here's what I found because this was skipped. This piece of like, what level is she at? It was skipped. I ended up having people come to me and go, oh yeah, perfect. But I had a lot of people that were on the fence. So 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They didn't know if they wanted to leave. They think they wanted to, but then they would kind of get scared and like hop to the other side of the fence. So it was this very much back and forth type of thing. And it was very much me, not like, I wasn't like forcing them to make a decision one way or the other. Like I wasn't like, yeah, you should leave or yeah, you should stay. It was just, I was trying to help them make a decision. And I realized that I didn't want to help them make that decision because it was exhausting. The back and forth was exhausting. Like, oh, can I do this? Oh, can I not? Do I trust myself enough to do like all the things? So I narrowed it down from there. And I said, it's not just, I want to help teachers who want to leave the classroom. It was, I help teachers who have already decided that they're leaving the classroom. So you can see the way that I speak to that person is very differently than I'm speaking to somebody that's on the fence about this decision. Right? I'm very much already speaking to a person who's like, okay, you've decided, you're ready to go. Now let's put the pieces into place. It continued to evolve over time and it continued to just get narrower and narrower based on where she was at. Because I believe that any person, like you could say, I work with moms or I work with teachers, I work with whatever, fill in the blank. That person, there's a continuum. There's a line and there's so many different people across this line and you have to zone in and go, okay, which one of these people in their journey, like where are they at and what are the characteristics of this person at that level, both at the identity level, at the belief level, at the behavior level, where is this person at? So when you know this, when you can start to identify the level that your person is at, your content and the way that you speak about your niche and therefore your messaging and therefore your brand becomes a lot clearer. And again, we create that moment of recognition. There's no moment of recognition when I would say, I help burnt out teachers bring back balance and joy. Like everybody's burnt out. Everybody needs more balance and joy. I don't even know what that actually looks like. Like there's no moment where people are like, oh, yes, I need this. But when it evolved into, I help teachers who have decided that they're already leaving the classroom, that they're leaving the classroom this next school year, and they won't be returning in the fall to create the foundational pieces for their online coaching business. People were like, yep, that's what I need. That's me. I've already decided. I already know I'm not coming back. And yep, I need help creating those foundational pieces to get this business really up and running. It's a night and day difference, you guys. And that's why this is so important that it's not overlooked. And when you are speaking to like everyone, it's funny because you're like, I don't want to say things that are too advanced for somebody who's newer or too basic for the person who's like farther along who would be a great client. But again, people need that feeling of like, yep, that's exactly where I'm at. Let's freaking go. And that comes from these 3 pieces of this magnetic niche framework coming together to create this beautiful person, this beautiful niche of who you help, how you help them, why how you help them is incredible, and also what level they're at in regards to what it is that you coach around. So a strong niche is not just a sentence, you guys. It is literally a leadership decision. It's being able to stand behind this and go, I'm okay with not everybody understanding this. I'm okay with not everybody like needing this or wanting this. It is a decision to say, this is who I'm here for. This is what I help her with. And this is the level that she's at when she comes into my world. That is what sharpens the message, your content, your conversations, your sales conversations. And it's what makes your brand and you more magnetic, is when you can stand behind that. And I know, like I get if you are a person right now who is still figuring out your niche, you're like, I don't know really what I want to coach around. I don't know really who she is. The only way to figure this out is to start doing the work. Clarity comes from action, not the other way around. You don't think yourself into figuring out your niche. You go out there and you do this work. You work with people, you work with anyone who feels like they could be close of a fit, and then you refine. You continue to play with it and refine it and have fun with it. You're not marrying anything here, okay? I know a lot of people think, oh gosh, like they put so much weight on this niche thing, but your niche really should be super fluid, just as you are. As you evolve, as you continue to evolve in your coaching and in business ownership and in who you are as a coach and who your clients are, it'll all continue to evolve and move. So this is not a lifetime commitment that you're making. It is just for right now. Who can I best help right now? And then we go back and we go through these 3 steps inside of the magnetic niche framework. Who is this person? Like, who is this person really actually? What do you help her with? And why is how you help her, how is that different than everybody else? I kind of skipped this part over a little bit because I could literally talk all day about this. And that's what we're going to do inside of the Magnetic Niche Challenge on Monday. So make sure you come join us. But how is what you do different than what she's used to seeing and what she's used to trying so far? That needs to also be identified and incorporated into this messaging and into your niche. And then the third step is, what level is she at in regards to what you help her with? Okay. This was so good. Now, again, this is just a little tiny piece of my overall signature momentum method. It's really where the momentum method begins. And this is where I help coaches move from the perfectionism and self-doubt into grounded confidence in their work. Because when you're waiting and you're trying to get this perfect niche and this perfect avatar and you're doubting, like, is this like the right thing? And we move you into having this really, really grounded confidence and leadership, it literally makes a night and day difference in, number one, how you speak about your work. I have had clients go from fumbling and I'm not sure, I don't know what to say when people ask me, I'm not sure, I don't know how to talk about this, to being able to just share what they do in a really, really solid, confident, and convicted way. I've had clients, we've gone through this framework together, and literally the next week, she signed 2 brand new clients based on this work that we've done together because it was so clear, and her people were like, yeah, duh, of course I'm going to come in. So as far as the overall signature momentum method, there are 3 key pieces to it. And the first one is turning your perfection and high standards into power instead of trying to fix it or get rid of it. Trust me, you're always going to want things done right, because you're the girl that if you're going to do something, you're not only going to do it well, but you're going to give it 120% and you're going to do it great. It's about taking that perfectionism and the high standards and diverting it into things that actually matter in your business, which allows you to speed up and move quickly versus having it slow you down, overthinking, people pleasing, all the things. So no more obsessing over the perfect caption or if your clients like you, or overthinking what to say in a sales conversation, wondering if you're doing things the quote unquote right way. Instead, we take that focus into creating a cohesive brand, a recognizable brand with exactly what we talked about today, a magnetic niche and messaging that aligns with your ideal client, and delivering an incredible client experience so that you create a community of your people who stick with you long term. So they're not just buying one thing, they're coming back for more. They're with you over and over. Now, this step alone in my own business, I have had clients who have continued to re-sign package after package. I have clients that have been with me for more than 2 years now. I had another client who just resigned for a third round inside the mastermind. This is what builds when you can turn your perfectionism and your high standards into power and something that's going to move you quicker. Everything changes. Now, the second part inside of the momentum method is cultivating self-trust, because growing and scaling your online coaching business isn't about finding this like magic strategy or magic hook that's going to skyrocket your business. If we're talking about longevity and sustainability, it is about having and cultivating a massive amount of self-trust so that you keep moving, you keep selling, you keep leading, you keep making decisions, you keep showing up powerfully even before any evidence or validation or results catch up to you. So inside the Unstoppable Trust System, we pinpoint where the misalignment between what you're currently doing and the mindset and behaviors and strategy of where you want to go. We incrementally upgrade those things and show you how to move so your business can catch up to the identity and the income and the clients and the capacity that you're ready for. And the last part of the momentum method is values-driven strategy. So running a successful online coaching business isn't about doing everything or doing what everyone else is doing or doing what your coach does. Oftentimes women come to me and say, Sandy, I'm doing all the things and nothing seems to be working. And when I really sit down with them and say, okay, let's actually look at what you're doing and let's look at why you're doing it. It's really hard for people to answer those two questions. And I say, what are you doing? They go, oh, I'm doing this XYZ strategy. And I go, why are you doing that? And they say, it's because somebody told me to, or I saw somebody do it on Instagram and it worked for her, or these reasons that aren't actually aligned with who you are. So it is about finding content, sales, and marketing strategy and delivery strategy that works for you and works for your life, what season you're in, and your capacity, so that you can do these things over and over and over again, day in and day out, without dreading it. And even on the days when life is lifing, right? So that you show up and you run your business, you sell your offer, you market your services, you deliver to your amazing clients, and it all feels really fun and it feels effortless and it doesn't feel rushed or like frantic, because it's aligned with you. Your strategy should be aligned with you and your voice and your values and your vision. Now, this momentum method has been transformative and the key to unlocking my clients' businesses and their lives. And today, this part, the magnetic niche framework, is just a little part underneath the bigger momentum method. And really, underneath this momentum method, the biggest change isn't just about how my clients show up. It's really truly how she sees herself and how she leads herself inside of her coaching business. Because all of my clients, they are not talking about ideal clients. My ideal client, and everyone that's in my world. So if you're here right now, I'm sure this is you. We're not just like fucking around and finding out. Like, we are actually dedicated to this work, not because we just want to make sales, but really because we want to make an impact. We want to make this world a better place. And it's so much bigger than just us. So it's really about how she feels about her work and how you feel about your work. Now, just a little reminder, if you are listening to this and you are like, yep, I need some specific support around this, you have some options here. So you can book that completely free, no pressure, growth gap audit call. We'll get on the call. We'll talk everything through. You can also join us inside of the Magnetic Niche Challenge starting on Monday, April 6th, 2026. I will put the link for the growth gap audit call and the link for the challenge inside of the show notes. Or if you're like, let's fucking go, Sandy, let's get in there. Let's work on this together. Let's spend a whole entire year together working through and building these things out, creating a values aligned business and strategy, cultivating that self-trust, and learning how your perfectionism and your high standards can actually be your superpower. Please apply for the mastermind or for one-to-one coaching. I would absolutely love to dive in with you. Now, the link for that to fill out the application for those is in the show notes. And make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss any new episodes. And if this episode hit home, please consider leaving a review. It really helps me out. Hitting those stars takes just a second, and it gets this into the ears of other incredible women who are out there making a difference, making an impact, and growing their online coaching businesses as well. And I will see you next time. If you are sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, this episode was made for me, you have two options. You can book your absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call. On this call, we'll take a look at your current life and business structure, identify where your gaps are, and show you how to close those gaps so you can get better results with less effort by working smarter and focusing your time on what actually moves the needle forward. The link is in the show notes for you. Or if you're ready to go from one-off wins to repeatable revenue with structure, strategy, and sales that support your life and keep dream clients coming back and your calendar full without burning out, you can apply to work together by clicking the link in the show notes. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss any new episodes. And if this episode hits home, please consider leaving a review, hitting those stars, and sending it to your biz bestie who's also ready to build a life and business on purpose. I'll see you next time.